Now, you may have noticed in that story some typical Gullah words and expressions and shortcuts. The grammar, which is mutilated and abbreviated, knows no rules except to follow the lines of least resistance and to say just that which is natural and to the point. The late Mr. Gonzalez says that feminine gossip in Gullah is she talk. And one of the choicest idioms ever devised is an equivalent of Shakespeare's frailty, thy name is woman. The Gullah darky says, woman is a sometime thing. I'm sure you're familiar with the music in Porgy and Bess. You remember that number? Woman is a sometime thing. Comes from that Gullah expression. There's so many cute idioms and expressions in the Gullah dialect. I wish I had time to recite several of them. One of the prettiest words is a word that you don't hear very often, broadus. I think it comes from the Scotch word broader, meaning a few drops in addition. And you take that pretty picturesque word, broadus, means something extra, a gift to the customer. I can remember my mother buying vegetables from a huckster on the street, and invariably she'd say, take this one for broadus. She'd give us another tomato or a potato or whatever it was we were buying. A very picturesque word, broadus. There's so many, as I say, so many cute words and expressions. One of my favorites is, he ain't cracky teeth, meaning he didn't open his mouth to speak. And then the opposite of that is the unravelly mouth. He talks a lot, he's very loquacious. It comes to me an amusing story from Georgetown, a man in Georgetown who wanted to get a marriage license. He wanted to marry Anne Polite, so he went to the judge of probate to get the marriage license, and the judge says it's Saturday. You come back at Tuesday at noon and the paper will be ready for you. Well, over the weekend, he met Eve Poinsett, and Eve had more appeal than Anne, and so when he went back Tuesday at noon, he said to the judge, sir, if you ain't too much trouble, sir, if you please, sir, change the name on them paper for Eve Poinsett, because I like that girl better than the first girl. Well, the judge says it'll cost you $1.50 for a new application. Oh, well, then, Judge, just let them stand, because there ain't that much difference between the two girls. Well, you've noticed that I glance down at my notes every now and then. I do that for several reasons. First of all, I don't want to tire you out. I don't want you to find yourselves in the condition of that colored woman who went home one evening. She said, I'm so tired, all I can do is set you and rock and rest. That's all I can do. So she sat down in the rocking chair and she commenced to rock and rest. A little while, there's a knock on the door. Who that is? It's Henry. Well, Henry, what you want? I got a basket of pizza for you. Well, let's set him down by the door, because I'm too tired to get up. A little while, there was another knock. Now, who that is? This William. William, what you want? I got a basket of vegetables for you. Well, let's set him down by the door, because I'm too tired to get up. Eventually, there was a third knock. Now, who that is? The Sam. Well, Sam, what you want? I just want a little loving. Boy, come in here, that thing is perishable. So I don't want to keep you too long. And then I don't want to get mixed up myself, you know. I have notes to avoid that. Like the colored minister who got his Bible frightfully mixed up, and he started to preach. And he said, and lo, the Queen of Sheba, gone down in Jerusalem, sitting on top of a mule. And behold, the mule fling him. And she fall among thieves, but they pass by on the other side. But when she come to herself and she get on that mule back again, and she see them coming from afar off. And 5 of them was wise and 5 was foolish. And they come forth to meet her with the palm leaf fan, crying, great is Susanna of the Ephesians. And they wave them palm leaf fan in that mule face. And as she riding down the street, she look up into the second story window and cry out, throw down Jezebel. The answer come back, we ain't going to throw down no Jezebel. She said for the second time, throw down Jezebel. The answer come back, we ain't going to throw down no Jezebel. She said for the third and the last time, throw down Jezebel. Then they change their mind. And they fling her down 70 times 7. And she busted into pieces which could not be numbered for the multitude thereof. And there was a great weeping and wailing and snatching out of teeth. And they gathered up over a fragment 12 basketful, 5 loaves and 2 small fish. And I say unto you, brethren, in the day of judgment, whose wife am Jezebel going to be? Of course, that's modified Gullah, as is the story that I had the pleasure of telling the late President Roosevelt about Evelina, who's been in our family for 30-odd years. The phone rang in the Reeves household one day, and Mrs. Reeves heard Evelina go to the phone and say, "Yas'm, yas'm." The show is, man, hung down the phone, and it rang immediately, and Mrs. Reeves heard Evelina go back and say, "Yas'm, yas'm." The show is, man, hung down the phone. Mrs. Reeves said, "Evelina, what in the world is going on?" "Well, the lady on the other end of the phone, she says, that 23237, I say, "Yas'm." "That Miss Reeves residence?" I say, "Yas'm." She said, "Long distance from Washington?" I say, "Show is, man." So that's modified Gullah. Now I'd like to give you an example of pure Gullah. This is a story by the late Ambrose Gonzales entitled "The Retort Courteous." Her name was Patty. She was as black as a tar baby, as oleaginous as the cotton oil mill, and like Captain Merrimack and all of it, as broad in the beam and square in the rig as a Dutch brig. When she appeared before a Tidewater trial justice as the prosecuting witness in Rita State of South Carolina versus Cudjoe Manigault, charged with malicious mischief. Taking the stand, she put her head on one side and complacently smiled until the corners of her mouth, evidently designed for the wholesale trade, approached dangerously near her ears. Twisting his amber imperial, his honor began, "What's your full name?" "Miss Wineglass, sir." "Where's your residence?" "He ain't come today, sir." "I mean, where do you live?" "Oh, yes, I live on Masket Fitzsimmons Plantation. Recently just done by me the Tuesday and week before last, make 6 months done gone, and I'm glad he buy 'em too, because why, just as soon as he buy 'em, he run that last husband which I marry in August off the place, which in me and that nigger never could agree, because in the first place he's too love for licky lady, and in the two place he too uncommon lazy and no count, and in the three place his first wife and me never could get along, and in the fourth place him is a class leader in the Baptist church, and everybody know very well does, whereas a class leader make a bad poor kind of that'll do. What's your charge? What's your charge against the defendant? Brother Cudjoe, sir? Yes, what's your charge? I never charge him nothing, sir. Well, what did Cudjoe do? But Cudjoe is a very no-manners nigger, sir. You know what no-manners is? Impolite. But Cudjoe is a very no-manners nigger, sir. Him is the class leader in my church, and when he saw the preacher on the suckers, there's how the locust preacher, unable to fill the pulpit, then because of his whole